Well, good morning, folks. How are you this morning? Ron Bishop here from Timaru, New Zealand. It's Sunday today. What is the date today? 29th, is it? Yes, the 29th of December 2013. And every Sunday morning I come on and do a sermon. And I like to do a different sermon every morning, on different subjects. And I was thinking about what to talk about this morning. And I woke up this morning and God said to me, why don't you talk about racists? Different races of people. Racism, you see. Because in New Zealand we've got two races of people. We've got Maoris and Pākehās. And I thought, well, how do I talk about that? I have to go back to the Bible and see what the Bible says about races, different races of people. And I couldn't find... I thought Jesus was a Jew. We're told that Jesus came into the world and he was a Jew. But I couldn't find Jew in the book. No, the word Jew is not written in the book. There's the word Gentile, but I don't know what that means. And I thought, well, the more I went into it, the more questions I had. Now, the Bible says that God made man and woman. But he didn't say whether he made them as Maori or Pākehā or Chinese or Indian or whatever. He didn't give them a race, did he? He didn't say, well, I'll make a black one today and a white one tomorrow. No. He just says he made a man. We don't know what colour that man was. What colour skin did that man have? Okay? Now, the Bible says that the man that he made was a bad man. He went around doing bad stuff. And then he made a woman and she did the same thing. And he wasn't too happy with what he made. So what he did, he had a big flood, you see. And he drowned everybody. Drowned all the people and all the animals. And just took two of everything. 2 donkeys, 2 sheep, 2 cows, 2 humans into this big ark, you see, and started again. Now, if you try and the mind can't visualize that. It's hard to visualize all these animals and people in this ark, isn't it? And this big flood and that. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Eh? But that's the story. And if you're a Christian, you have to believe it, whether it's right or wrong. Now, the Bible said even after the big flood, they were still arguing. As they multiplied, you see, you had one male and one female. And as they multiplied, they still were bad. They still did bad stuff. And the Bible says it's because of a bloke called Satan. He was the bad guy. He puts the bad thoughts into people's minds, you see. That's what the Bible says. And so God wasn't happy with all these people arguing and being mean to each other. So he said, I'll send the Son. I'll create a perfect human being and put him into the world. And I'll call him Jesus, you see. So he got this woman called Mary, and he got her pregnant. Without a husband. Was it her husband? I don't know, a boyfriend. He just got her pregnant. And anyway, he said to Mary, he sent an angel and he said to Mary, you're pregnant and you're going to have a baby called Jesus. And he's going to be perfect. And he's going to go around the world and he's going to tell everybody what to do. How to live, you see. And what happened is, this baby he called Jesus... we don't know whether he was a black one, what colour he was. We don't know whether he was a Maori or an Indian or whatever. I don't think they had names in those days. I think they were just a person. They were just man and woman. I don't think there weren't any races. And I don't know how some come out white and some come out black. I'm not too sure how that all happened. But I do know this, that if you're in a hot country, Jesus made black ones. Hot countries, because the black, they don't get so hot. But if you made white ones don't like the heat, It's something like that. It's something between black and white. The countries have different coloured people. Anyway, I live in the South Island, New Zealand, and there's very few Maoris down here. Very few dark-skinned people live in the South Island, mostly white-skinned people. Because it's a bit colder down here than it is in the North Island, you see. And Maori people and that don't come down here. A few of them come down here, but you see what's happened over the years is black people and white people started breeding amongst themselves. All the different races of people started breeding amongst themselves. And when they first discovered New Zealand, there wasn't any people there, you see, and some Maoris from the somewhere up Hawaii or somewhere around there. They were living up there, and they just got in a canoe and they rowed down and they found this country called New Zealand, you see. And of course the Maoris got it all worked out. They reckon they were out there fishing in their canoe and they hooked up New Zealand and on their fishing line, and that was New Zealand. But anyway, they got onto New Zealand and they said, this is our country, we're going to keep this. So there was a few people there, and they ate them all. They killed them all and ate them all, because they used to eat people. They thought that they were brought up that you eat each other, right? Cannibals. Now you tell Maori people that, and they get angry. They don't like the truth, eh? They don't want to think that their ancestors actually ate each other. But what annoys me is, today, in New Zealand in 2013, that there are no pure-blooded Maoris. They're all intermarried with different races of people. If you ask people what race they are, they'll either say they're English or Pākehā or Chinese or whatever. But they've all got a bit of something in them, because it's a long time ago since they first made Adam and Eve, isn't it? And there's been a lot of sexual intercourse going on around the world since then. And they weren't really fussy who they slept with. They just, that's the way it was. And we're all the same. So if we've all come from Adam and Eve, we must be all the one race, right? Now, it's only over time that we've changed the colour of our skin. But we're all the same, and we've all got the same feelings and emotions, because God put certain feelings and emotions into us. I've told you what they are, haven't I? Have I told you that? Just a minute. Here they are, here on this chart. Feelings and emotions. I got them on a ladder. This is called the ladder of success. And we start down the bottom. This is the bottom one. Depression. That's at the bottom of the ladder. Apathy. Stuck. Can't. Lazy. And then we've got grief. Hurt, guilty, loss and pity, self-pity. Depression and grief, and fear is the other one. Doubt, scared, worry, panic. Every human being has these three negative emotions. And then we have lust, anger and pride. Lust, selfish, greedy, want, envy. And anger, rude, mad, violent, jealous. And pride, arrogant, aloof, cool and smug. We all have these. Lust, anger and pride. And these are the three positive ones. There's only three positive ones. Peace, acceptance and confidence. Confidence, I can. Eager, belief, courage. And then we've got acceptance, open, warm, joyful, secure. Peace, free, pure, perfect, calm. These are the 9 feelings and emotions. It doesn't matter what colour you are. We all have these feelings and emotions built into us. God made it that way. We're all the same. Doesn't matter what colour our skin is, or where we came from. We all have feelings of depression, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride, confidence, acceptance and peace. Well, if that's the case, if every human being in the world has the same feelings and emotions built into them, then what's the problem? Well, the problem is this. The problem is a word called belief. When we come into the world, we come into the world without any beliefs. We know nothing, right? We're a little baby with a mind, but we know nothing. And our beliefs are our experiences, the way we are treated by our parents, the people around us, the words that we hear and say, because God gave us this marvelous thing called a brain. And it's just like a computer. Whatever you put into it, that's what comes out. So if you're a little child and you come into the world and your parents are arguing and yelling at each other and screaming at each other and giving you a hiding when you've done wrong and all stuff like that, you will grow up to have a certain personality. You'll have an attitude towards life, right? And when you're young, you believe everything you're told. So if your ancestors told you that Pākehās were bad people, you're going to believe that. And if they told you Maoris were bad people, you're going to believe that. Whatever, the word Jew comes up a lot. In the wars and things like that, the Jews were treated unkindly. But my father used to say a Jew was a fellow who was pretty stingy with his money. Didn't want to get part with his money. That's a Jew. So every person or every nationality, every race of people got labelled. They got labelled, and there's certain types of people who get labelled. Now, just a minute. Now, another race of people that got labelled mean with their money were Scotchmen. For some reason, Scotch people don't like to part with their money. And if you tell a Scotchman he's mean, he will become mean. Whatever we tell people, they'll believe, right? So you can teach people, these Kawasaki pilots and that commit suicide, get in aeroplanes and fly around and go into the funnels of ships and blow them up and all that. And we had some went into a big building in New York somewhere and killed all those people. Why did they do that? Because they've been taught that they're going to be heroes if they do it. And they're told a lie, you see. They're brainwashed. Because you can speak directly into the subconscious mind of a human being, and if they believe it, if you tell them something often enough, they'll believe it. Today I'm talking about Christianity. Now, with Christianity, the first thing you have to be a good Christian is faith. And what is faith? It's believing something whether it's true or not. The story goes that God made Jesus Christ, and he made a perfect human being. Is that true? I wouldn't have a clue whether it's true or not. But I had to make a decision because the Bible said if my life wasn't going well, then I had to become a Christian. I had to say sorry to God. The Bible says if you've done bad stuff, then you have to apologize to God, right? And you do it through his son Jesus, because you can visualize Jesus as a human being, but you can't visualize God because God is spirit. And now that Jesus is no longer walking around the earth, he's also a spirit. And where does he live? He lives in the hearts of people. Now, God made a perfect world. He did. Because he had an opposite to everything. Everything's got an opposite. Right? There's God and there's Satan. the good and the evil. You can't have good without evil. If there was no Satan, we'd all be perfect. We'd all be like Jesus, right? Because Jesus was the only one that could get rid of Satan out of his life. He wouldn't let him into his heart at all, right? Now, a Christian is someone that says, look, I've stuffed this up. I've had enough. I can't run my life like this. I've got to give it to someone else. And we are spiritual beings. So you by faith, you believe the Bible is true. And by faith, you do as the Bible says. And guess what, folks? I can testify that it's true. It works. The Bible says pray. And if you pray, you'll get what you ask for. And guess what? It's true. Everything that I've asked for has come true. But the trouble is, I've asked for some bad stuff. And that's come true as well. Now, I didn't know I was asking for bad stuff. But I did it because I'm a human being. And God gave us a thing called worry and panic and scared, fear. And I held a picture in my mind of the things I didn't want to have happen. And as I held the picture in my mind of the things I didn't want to have happen, they happened. Because God said, you have to ask whatever you want in my name, imagine it, visualize it, can affirm it, and it'll be yours. Now, if you're looking at me, you would say that I have white skin or pink skin, right? You wouldn't think I was a Maori, would you? Or an Indian or a Chinese or anything like that. I got pale skin, right? But I want to introduce you to a couple of other people. Just a minute. See this fella here? See this man here? What colour's his skin? Black, right? And see this fella lying down here? His skin's black too, right? So what's the name of this man? Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston, first round. First minute of the first round, 25th of May 1965. How to think like a winner. This man here learnt the art of how to think like a winner. He became a believer in the power outside of himself. And he said, I am the greatest. I am the greatest boxer of all time. And he believed it. And he convinced himself, and that's what happened to Sonny Liston in the first minute of the first round on the 25th of May 1965. Here's another man, Nelson Mandela, an inspirational leader. This is a book that I got for Christmas. Here he is at number 10 Downing Street, and he's shaking hands with the Prime Minister of England. And guess what? One's black and one's white. Here they are shaking hands. Now, Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in jail. He's a jailbird. And here he is shaking hands with a man at number 10, Downing Street in England. Here's another two men. One's black, one's white. Nelson Mandela. And who's this grumpy looking bugger on the right? He's a Yank. He's an American. What was his name? George Bush. Here's some more people. Black ones, white ones, pink ones, all different colours. They're signing something. What are they there for? What's it all about? You'll have to buy the book. Here's another fella. Honourable Dr. Peter Sharples. Now, what colour is his skin? Eh? Where did he come from? What nationality is this man? I was down at my daughter's last on Friday night, having a beer and nibbles. We always go down on Friday night. And she's not happy with this man. My daughter is not happy with this man, because you know what he did? He went over to the funeral of Nelson Mandela, black man. He went to his funeral. And he went representing the Maori people. Why did he go? Representing one race of people. The Prime Minister of New Zealand was there, John Key. Why did they have to take Dr. Peter Sharples? And why did us taxpayers have to pay for him to go to a funeral of another black man? I tell you why we had to pay for him to go over there to that funeral. Because of politics. Because the way that politics works is it's all about votes. And this Maori fella, Honourable Dr. Peter Sharples, is a bum licker. He gets into Parliament to elect the bum of the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister licks his bum because they both want money. They both want power. And it makes me so angry when I look at these people, the way they behave. Why do they behave that way? Because that's the way their brains have been programmed. They want power. And to get power, they have to lick the bums of each other. Not very good talk, is it, for a Christian? But I'm telling it like it is. We have to come together as New Zealanders. We have to be all one. This Peter Sharples has got European blood in him. He's not a pure-blooded Maori. And yet he's representing the Maori race. Not on. I'm sorry, folks. We have to change. Our attitude has to change. I said I was going to go up to Gisborne to see, to do some work, to preach the power of the mind, Christianity, stuff like that. And I rang my brother and told him I was going to come up. He said, "Oh, don't go to Gisborne," he said. "They're all headhunters up there." I said, "What do you mean they're headhunters?" He said, "They don't like Pākehās." But I'm not a Pākehā. I'm a Maori. What? Y'all think I'm a Maori? My grandfather was 55 years of age when he got married. 55. Now, I don't know what he did up until age 55, but he certainly wasn't going without having sex, and he must have had sex with somebody. And how do we know he didn't have sex with a Maori? And how do you know there's no Maori in me then? How do you know I haven't got relations that are Maoris? This is entirety. I went up there a while ago to find my relations, and there were two families of bishops. One were Maoris and one were Pākehās. Now, I don't know which team I belong to. I'm the same as Peter Sharples. But you see, I'm not asking the ratepayers to pay my way to around the world to a funeral to represent my Pākehā race, my white skin race. Don't do that. Sorry, Peter. You got to pull your head in, Dr. Peter Sharples, and all you other Maoris that think you're superior. And every time I say something, I know people are going to say, "Oh, that Ron Bishop's a racist." The Maoris will say that. That's the only protection they have. They say, "Oh, he's a racist." Yeah, I'm a racist. If that's what I am, then I am a racist. And I'm proud of it. Because we have to be like Nelson Mandela. We have to bring people together. Forget about the colour of our skin. Forget about the fact that we we came from bloody Hawaii in a canoe and found New Zealand before anybody else and killed everybody else off and pinched their land and did all that stuff, all the bad stuff. We've all done it. Pākehās and Maoris. Captain Cook was no sinner, no saint. He would have slept with the odd Maori, I reckon. And Abel Tasman. They all did it. You know what I'm saying? Folks, there's a Christian message here this morning. The Christian message is this. We don't know the truth. We'll never know the truth. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is get hold of this book here, called the Bible, read it, and whatever's in it, believe it. Believe the main bits. You're not going to believe everything. But believe the main bits. Be kind to one another. Love one another. We're all equal. Sorry, Dr. Peter Sharples. I love you, mate. You're a good guy. I've never met you personally, but I'd love to meet you. I'd love to sit down and talk to you and rub noses or push noses or whatever you do, whatever your culture is, because I respect the Maori culture. I love the Maoris. They're wonderful people. You know, I was brought up in the days when all the Maori wanted was a bottle of beer and a guitar, and he's happy. Yeah, they were the true Maoris, and there's still a lot out there. Wonderful people, the Maori race. Let's come together. The Chinese, the Indians, wonderful people. We're all the same. We've all the same feelings and emotions. We just have to manage it, that's all. Manage it better than we've managed in the past. I'm going to be travelling New Zealand. I've already asked Jesus to do that. He says, whatever you ask in my name you shall have. And I've said to Jesus, I want to travel the world speaking to millions of people on motivation. And he's told me, he said, start in New Zealand, Rob. Start in New Zealand. Start in your own backyard. Go around New Zealand and talk to people about the power of the mind. Go around New Zealand and talk to people about Jesus Christ. Go around New Zealand and talk to people and tell them that we don't have to be fighting. We don't have to be arguing. We don't need wars. Yeah, that man I showed you, Muhammad Ali, he didn't go to war. He refused to go to war because he said, I've got no argument with those people. I'm not going to go and shoot people. You see, the sad thing about war is you get decorated, you get medals and stuff if you shoot people and kill people. And that's the wrong thing with war. You don't get medals from a war unless you've done bad stuff. Sorry. Listen. Do it, will you? Will you do it? Will you promise me something? Tonight, will you get down on your knees by your bed, just kneel down by your bed, and say these words. Jesus, I'm sorry. God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm sorry for stuffing it up. I want Jesus to come into my life. Jesus, come into my heart. Live in my heart. Kick Satan out of there and sit in my heart. Become a Christian. Say to God, I want to turn my life over to you. And I tell you what, you'll change. You'll change and it'll be a wonderful life. You'll have a wonderful life. And I'm going to see you on the front row. You'll be sitting in the front row when I come to your town, in your town hall, and I talk to you, and I'll shake hands with you. And I'll see you in your church, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going around New Zealand, talking to people, telling them about Jesus Christ, telling them how to become a Christian. Very simple. Don't need to complicate it, okay? See you tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in. I'm online every morning, okay? Bye-bye.